Welcome back to Feed Your Soul podcast, and I'm Serena, and I'm so excited to welcome you guys to the second episode. And I've got Robynne Ouchi joining me as my guest. She was a former soul instructor. She's a swimmer. She's a massage therapist. She teaches massage. She has so much to say, and we're going to be talking about transition to transformation, and she's got an amazing story. Welcome, Robynne.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here.
Very happy to be here.
Awesome. And so before we get started, Robynne, I hope you don't mind,
Brilliant.
but we are going to get a little dancey, and we are going to do like a chair dance, and it's going to be it's called a soul second. So anytime you just want to like get your body moving, this is what we're going to do. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The show must go on, and Robynne, thank you for joining me to dance to those tunes today.
My pleasure.
Okay, don't you feel way better?
Always.
Oh, I do.
Moving always helps.
Yes, and I just feel like the blood is flowing, and so let's get right into conversation. If you don't mind, I'm going to talk a little bit at the beginning about how I first met you.
Sure.
And do you know what year that was?
2019?
2018.
18.
Yes.
Okay, yep.
And I had never met you before, and you came into Soul Studio, and I believe I was closed, and for some reason I went downstairs and opened the door, and you came in, and you were wanting to look around, and I remember that conversation. I remember where you were at in your life.
Crawling my way with tooth and nail through that door.
Yes. And you opened up to me a little bit about your life and how you felt. And that was like within a matter of 5 minutes of meeting you. So if you can take us back to 2018 and just tell us a little bit about what got you to Soul, why you came to Soul.
Yeah. I had come to a point in my life where a marriage that had been over 20 years was now done. Wow. And it was a transitional opportunity for me, because for the first time really since childhood, like teen years, I was in a position where my time and my accountability was to me. And that's very, as a mother, as a wife, very, very different. But now with an adult child and, on my own, I was revisiting things that brought me joy. And I was trying to find who I was as an adult and what are the components that were in my life that fed who I wanted to be. I ended up revisiting a few things of who I was previously, and part of that was someone who did enjoy physical movement, who did enjoy being physically fit, who that piece needed to be nurtured. And that, for me, I was very fortunate in finding Soul, and I'd heard good things in the community and very close to my house, which was just a gift.
Perfect.
And just your energy, your openness, your vision was exactly what I needed and exactly what I was trying to bring into my own life in a new way. So,
and what I love about that is you realizing that you needed to find that joy. And I love that word, because in episode number 1, we spoke a lot about joy. And I feel like it's a great follow-up with you and your story, because I think a lot of people forget about who they are and what they are, because life happens.
And it shifts, right?
It shifts.
From one decade to the next, who we are and what we need and who we are to other people shifts quite a bit. And it's hard to catch up sometimes.
Yeah. How did you know that you were feeling lost? Like, did you just all of a sudden get to a point, or did you say like, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden I'm getting lost, I'm in the hole? Like, how?
No, it was coming out of the marriage where I all of a sudden it was like stepping into sunshine, which for me was an absolute confirmation. This was the right decision. Where I had been was not okay, likely for anybody involved.
Yeah.
And at this point, I didn't know who I was. I knew who my identity had been, but this was now not where I was.
Right.
I think it was that afternoon, or the day before I came into Soul, I had grabbed a paddleboard, and I had gone out and I just paddled into the middle of Cow Lake and just sat there. and just listened to the water lapping,
Amazing.
listened to the birds, and really just gave myself a moment with no expectations to just sort of see where I was at and what came up, where my head was, you know. My physical body the next day told me it was not in a place of wellness, because, you know, basic exertion, the muscles were like, we haven't done that in a very long time. What are you thinking?
Right. And you grew up fit. Like, yes. You grew up swimming, right? Mm-hmm. So was that your initial love? Is that your joy, is swimming? Or what was it that you were discovering or rediscovering? Or tell me a little bit about your swimming.
There had been, my parents always believed you needed hobbies. They didn't care what I did.
Yeah.
But you had to be doing something.
Okay.
And when I explored different skating and synchro and various things, competitive speed swimming, that took off. So within a very short period of time, I was at national level. I was quite young. It was an interesting experience because it didn't necessarily end positively.
Okay.
I saw a side to sport and high-level competition that is political, and I was too young and not mature enough to really understand what that was or have a radar for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the sport, as far as the movement and the peers and the travel and the competition, that was for me.
Like, that was that's what lit you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Now, I didn't have the confidence to go back to sport at that early time. Mm-hmm. And it was from being with Soul, doing that journey, becoming more physically fit, that I was able to tiptoe my way into TRX, which led me to tiptoe my way back into a gym, which led me to tiptoe my way back into the pool.
Which is so amazing. Oh my God, I love it so much.
And really, we look full circle. May of this year, I'm at Worlds Taipei. So we'll be going to Taiwan
so
in May.
Cool.
Yeah. So
that
again,
is amazing.
Competing and traveling and doing all the things I love, but fully because it's what I want, and I'm doing it in a way that is authentic to me, to find that joy, to feed that peace.
I'm so happy for you. Really, I think my happiness is when people can understand what their joy is. And I think that's half the battle. Mm-hmm. That's why I appreciate the fact that you said that you went out onto the lake by yourself. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't want to spend time by themselves when they're in a really bad state. Well,
it's scary, right?
Yes.
You don't have the answers.
No.
That's terrifying.
No. And you're like, oh, what should I be doing? Or you're so lost. Yeah. But I think spending time with yourself and going back to who you are and what you love and what you were is really what people should be doing. Because we all go through life, and life will take us into a separate turn every single time. And like you said, you were swimmer, then you were mom, then you were wife, and we all get these, like, what's it called? Like makeups, right?
Yes,
like identities.
All the masks and the expectations
so it's
of
here
society.
And here and here. And eventually we are so clouded, we are lost.
Yeah. And it's so dangerous too, those masks, because they're not authentic to us.
Yes.
They're something else. And they're often a societal creation.
Yeah, it is.
That's not real.
No, it's sad.
And, like it's not. It's lovely to say yes and garden, and I can bake, and I can be very attentive to you, and I can be completely focused on you and completely focused on me. But that's not real.
No.
Like, nobody can actually do that.
No.
And that's where I find those masks are so challenging, because your self-worth just tanks.
Just goes.
Because there's no way you can do them all. And even if you could,
can't.
They don't fit your face.
No.
It's not you.
And it's exhausting. So it's just like trying to play a role that you're not.
Yeah.
So this is where I was a believer at Soul, is to be authentic, be who you are. Like, I don't care what you show up in.
And can I share? Yeah. One of the things I love the most. So the Latin salsa moves that your body does, my Germanic body looks at that and is like, I beg your pardon, what? No, we don't do that, honey. But there are moments, and you've always encouraged it in us, and you do it, you model it, which is what it was like, whoa. There'll be moments where you will get lost, and you'll just be like, whoa, what? And you'll just like embrace it and be like, meh, and go. And you have fun with it, and you're okay with it. Like, it doesn't scare you. You're not intimidated by it. You don't try to fake your way out of it.
No.
You are authentically there. And there was a day, it happened on the same day, that happened for you.
Yeah.
But earlier, there had been somebody in the far corner, and I'm a corner dancer.
Yeah.
I
know your corner, actually.
I need like inanimate.
Yeah.
So that I only have a couple areas where I might actually hit somebody. Otherwise, I'm just hurting me, and it's fine.
I love it.
There was somebody else in the corner, and it was a more complicated series of Latino movements.
Yeah.
And I look over, and they're going in a corner, just grooving on their own.
I love it.
Nothing to do with the choreography, owning it, loving it.
And no one cared.
Nobody cared. And it was wonderful. It was so freeing.
Yes.
You embodied that whole societal, get the steps right, do the thing, look this way. You're like, screw that. Not a chance. Go have fun. And you created that space. I've never fully seen that elsewhere to the level that you did. Like, there was such an amount of acceptance.
Yeah.
Be who you are. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Come on in. Do it.
Yeah. And that's why I was a huge believer of soul and what I did and what had been created, because I feel like, especially in the fitness industry, I mean, let's talk about masks. Like, it's like
for sure.
the way they portray themselves, like super fit. I'm like, let's take a look around and like see who the real bodied, what the real bodied people are. And great if you are fit, because but like, let's also try to embrace, the others that are just trying to have fit and have fun and have a good time.
And you talk about transformation, and one of the paths I've gone down with regards to like the swimming and getting to a different level and just trying different things. In that body image piece too, Stacey Sims has done a book, Roar, and it talks a lot about different foods and different ways that bodies will work with that and take in nutrients or not take in nutrients.
Right. So true.
And that whole body image of like, this is what healthy looks like.
Yeah.
No, man, that's not it.
No.
And you have people who are incredibly well and fit, and they don't look like what in a magazine you think fit should look like. And that's, again, that moment where, we have to just embrace where we're at, love the body, what it can do, work with it, keep it strong, and forget the societal.
Yeah. But do you know what my definition of fit really is, actually? And it just came to me. I've never said this aloud. But is the light within.
Ooh, love.
And so
love
like
that.
when I saw people come in, like I had said in episode number 1, I didn't see faces. I didn't see bodies. I saw lights. I saw souls. So like, and then I got to see souls that were dark, and then I got to see them add a little bit of light, add a little bit of light, add a little bit of light. And the next thing you know, they are coming through that door. They are standing on stage and they are rocking it. And it just was like, wow. And to me, that's what got me going, is because it's like, here are the people, that actually just want to be free. And it is society that have us pegged on what we should look like, what we need to wear. People comment on what somebody's wearing. It's like same thing. It's like, who cares? Yeah. Like, let that inner light show. So I really feel like, it didn't matter what we looked like or what we wore, but when we came in, we were lit, like we were on fire together, because it was authentic souls just being together. And I think that created a sense of community and belonging.
A strong sense, yeah.
And I loved it because Robynne actually came to teach at my studio as well, TRX. So she became an instructor at Soul. Yeah. And when we were
an instrumental place for me to take that next step
into swimming. Thank you. You're welcome. And thank you for doing it. Everybody loved you and the what you brought to it because of your background in massage and really knowing your body. It was funny. I was just reviewing COVID, like notes on a few things of what we did during COVID, and I actually can't believe how much we did.
The wild things that we got on film and tried to do in order to keep that connection.
But I saw give people what they needed. But I saw a photo of you, and I remember we brought you in. We were trying to do workshops so that people could, when they're at home, just sit and say, like, how can I be better, or what can make me happy? And I know that you did like a mind-body connection talk, which is, I feel, is a very important part of finding who you are. Like, you have to have the connection to your body.
Totally.
So let's talk about your swimming. Okay. Because I would like to know when you first decided that you wanted to start swimming again, what gave you the courage to go back into something like that? That really, you were like, I don't know, did you think you were ever going to swim again?
Oh, hell no.
You were done.
That was, it was 28 years. I had
28 years.
I had not put on a cap. I had not put on goggles. I didn't own them. I had not jumped in water, like a pool water.
Yeah.
No.
You were done. Closed it. Done. Finished.
Yeah. didn't like the way that the entire politics behind the sport was orchestrated as far as the tiers, didn't like decisions that happened at very, very high levels, didn't feel it was okay. Done. Yeah. So done.
And so you, okay, so then what got you back in?
Right. So I ended up supervising for some of our students.
Yeah.
As they were doing an outreach at a swimming competition.
Okay.
And you smell the chlorine. Oh, maybe I do miss this.
Oh, you got to.
And I'm doing stroke analysis with them because initially, as everybody's doing warm up, no one's coming for massage, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, we're going to go to the end. We're going to do stroke analysis.
Yeah.
And ironically, watching people, and there's a person doing beautiful butterfly that you just don't see. So,
yeah.
Okay, this is how it's supposed to look. Nobody does it.
Yeah.
Didn't know this was a record holder.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Okay.
And so it was sort of that re-engagement of like, stroke analysis, bringing your head back into that game and remembering what it would feel like, and remembering the snap off the wall when you were doing it right, and seeing that in other people, and it's like, oh, I remember what that felt like. That used to feel so good.
Yes.
The irony is that the individual doing butterfly is my now husband.
Oh!
And he came over for a treatment later, and I had said to the student who was about to work with him, so do you remember in warm-up we were looking at stroke analysis? So we noticed that he has his head turned to the side when he breathes. So remember the imbalances that you're likely going to find in the neck.
Yeah.
Focus there.
Yeah.
Well, he of course, was hearing this. Imbalances, man. Who do you think you are? Yeah.
I love that you said that.
It was not love at first sight at all.
Oh,
he was
that's
very
hilarious.
Unhappy.
Yeah.
The worst thing, though, he said later, he's like, the thing that pissed me off the most was you were right. That was not okay. You can't be right about it. So months later, I did decide to go and to swim. And funny enough, he was there. And we did a set, and it was a timed set within the first couple weeks. I may have lapped him. That was not okay. But I may have, yeah.
Sorry, Kurt.
Yeah. But I was a distance swimmer. So
yes.
I did the very, very short sprints.
Yeah.
And I did distance.
Okay.
In between, hopeless.
Yeah.
He does not do distance at all.
No,
he does very, very fast,
yeah.
shorter backstroke and butterfly sprints, and can, for the record, kick my ass in freestyle as well. Calling a spade a spade.
Yeah. Okay, so I was listening to what you were saying, and I just love how these episodes are connecting, because in episode number 1, we talked to Judy, and we talked about how joy is a feeling. Oh, yeah. And we talked about how it just like it touches all your senses. So as soon as you said you smelled the chlorine, what did it bring you back to?
Oh,
that
the meets and the camaraderie and that competition. There is absolutely a piece. Some people are more competitive than other.
Yeah.
Might be to an unhealthy level over here.
It's okay.
Yeah. So that was just
and then the
flags
kick
and
the kick, that feeling. So I think it's like connecting to a feeling sometimes when you feel lost, and be a little bit aware of like what your body and how your body moves and senses when it comes into something that gives it like
the visceral.
Yeah. Because I think some people just ignore those feelings, but I think that could be your guide. It could be a guide to be like, oh my gosh,
there's something here. I need to be present and I need to pay attention to it.
And I need to maybe follow it. Yeah. And here's what I say. Why would you be scared to follow it? Right? What is the worst case scenario if you follow something? Okay? It doesn't work out.
You learn something new.
Big whoop-de-doo. Yeah. Exactly. And guess what? You also figure out that it's not for you. Yeah. Or you figure out it could change your life, which it changed your life.
Oh, completely.
Right?
Yeah. And in a direction I never planned to go. I was going to be single for life. I was going to be selfish. And by selfish, I don't mean in a negative way. I just mean, this is
time.
Me. Yes. I don't want anybody in my sphere. I'm not interested, not looking, not welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
There was none of any of that piece.
Yeah.
But that is 100% where it led me down. And ironically, people I swam with at 12 years old, he went to varsity with. Like, we have the same friend circle. We just didn't know each other.
Okay,
and
so
we went
I
to the same meets too.
I knew Kurt,
yeah.
and I knew Kurt because I think he's a few years older than me. I knew his name from swimming. Because every time in the Vernon papers when I was growing up, it was Kurt. It was Kurt. Like, I remember that because actually, I wish I was a competitive swimmer. That is like something.
You got something better, honey.
But that was something that I like loved and I resonated with swimming. And so I think I was always like, oh, like who is that? But Kurt's name was always there. So I find it so amazing that what you didn't think you would do was swim, get married again, all of a sudden it happened to you.
Here we are.
Maybe because you were open as well.
Maybe. I wasn't intentionally trying to not make friends and not, I was a laughing, silly goofball. Yeah. And if that worked for you, cool. If not, bye. I don't care.
Oh, that's amazing.
And happily, he's a goofball too.
That's amazing. I think everybody, goofballs find goofballs, right?
It kind of works.
It's amazing.
And laugh a lot.
Well, that's the best. I think that's the best medicine. And I think as we age and we get older, I feel like you care less about what other people say. And I don't think that's a bad or selfish thing either. Yeah. I think it's like you actually know what you want. Right? And so I think that's kind of a good thing.
Totally agree.
So I guess now getting more involved in swimming, you have now a new community that you have formed or that has formed or is forming.
Embraced me.
Embracing, that's the word. Amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the neatest, most interesting things I find with regards to master swimming is that it's a different paradigm than when you're an age group swimmer. When you're an age group swimmer, there's more of a didactic, goal-oriented, focused person.
Okay.
Who's making decisions, who's entering you in places, who's saying, like, this is your trajectory, this is where you're going. With master swimmers, there's a coach, but you have so much more freedom. Even with regards to entering your times and meets, like, your coach enters your best times.
Yeah.
Go. Make this happen.
Yeah.
As a master swimmer, sandbag this one. This one's gonna be for technique, and this one's gonna be for turns, and this one's gonna be for speed, because that sounds fun.
Right.
We I don't know if I'm gonna do it next year, but one of the things a few of us have talked about is different goals for different years. Like a peer said, well, they do each event once. That's their goal for the year.
Oh.
Each event. Okay. Even the horrible ones that you're definitely not good at, you do it once.
Wow.
It's like, well, that's very different than go after the thing and try
to play. But I kind of like it.
Right? It's a way of just making it fun.
Yes.
And these are the sorts of things that go around the community. Some of us right now, because Vernon is getting a new pool.
Yes.
Woo!
That's amazing.
Yay. So Vernon Masters may be hosting larger scale meets, larger scale to the point where we need, a couple hundred officials.
Wow.
We don't have a couple hundred officials. So a bunch of us are doing more officiating and getting the training in, because that part of this has to grow in order for the youth in the area and us.
Yes.
In order for us to have the infrastructure to run high-level meets.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is so exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting.
And especially to be a part of the beginning stages, right? With a bunch of people that truly love what they do. Yeah. And it is for the youth, it is for them to have this opportunity to grow into something.
I like to say that we're just really creating that base of future master swimmers.
Amazing. Go, Vernon, go. So awesome. That's so great. So that's good that you were able to find, because when Soul closed, which was also another great community, you were able to kind of push yourself into a different community as well.
Yeah, I had more time to just focus there because I just didn't find that niche. There are other things that I do.
Yeah.
But that was a very, very special community.
Yeah.
That was cultivated there.
It was so good. And we learned from so many people. And I think that's why I like what you said, like they're going to do the, a swimming stroke or a meet that or what's it called? An event that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's like Soul, like
200 butterfly. Nobody in their right mind wants to do. That's horrible.
Right? But then I would throw challenges up at Soul and I'd be like,
yes,
you have to do all of these classes. And I knew people that did not like Zumba. Okay? They were bar focused, spin focused. I do not dance, Serena. And I was like, well, for the challenge, in order to get a sticker, you have to do a Zumba class.
Or Bollywood.
Or Bolly X.
Oh,
so
that was fantastic.
Fun.
Yeah.
So fun. Yeah. So then what happens is when you try something that you've blocked your mind of that you don't like, I can probably tell you 90% of the people that didn't want to try something ended up being regulars.
I love it. That's
And that could have been a Zumba class, or it could be same goes for the Zumba people who didn't want to do a ride class, you know, who are like, why would I want to sit on a bike? I'm like, why wouldn't you? Like riding a bike and listening to the music and being within like with everybody's energy. Yeah. They were like, wow, this is an amazing workout.
I think too that feeling that energy, you don't necessarily get it until you're forced into it. And now you experience it and it's like, oh, that wasn't what I thought it was.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And so, I think my highlights were like when I first opened the ride studio, you know, a lot of the Zumba peeps were like, I don't ride bikes. No. Like, so it took like 6 months, 8 months to get some people in that room, which was like 5 steps away. And then as soon as they'd walk out, they'd be like,
it was
I felt like saying, I told you.
And I love when you did that with yoga as well. And
yes.
I think for you also, you challenged yourself because
did.
that was not naturally your comfortable place.
The
coming down into stillness.
Yes.
Whoa.
So uncomfortable.
Yes.
So thank you for actually bringing that up, because I'll tell you, I brought yoga into the studio, and you're right, yoga's not my thing. I am energy, go and push and always. Okay, Serena, come do yoga.
But you did.
I did.
And you did with like full integrity, full presence.
I gave it. I'm like, you know what? If I'm trying to make people do spin and do Zumba, let me go in there and do yoga.
They would have called you on it if you didn't.
100%. And then they're all like, did you like yoga? Did you like yoga? Did you sit there? Did you talk? And it was just so funny because I remember my first class, I was like,
what am I doing?
Okay. We're not talking? Okay. Just sit here for 5 minutes for Shavasana? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
surely I could be leaving right now, no?
Like, I could be doing this, gotta do this, gotta do this.
And isn't that a thing? Our minds, they're so busy. The stillness is not easy. That's hard work.
But I loved the challenge because that to me is, if you cannot challenge yourself, you cannot grow. So what I learned from yoga is actually what I've done in my transition now out of soul, because I have not done any high impact exercise. My body physically doesn't allow me to move like that anymore. So I had to get my body back. And I think it's because I burnt it out, number one. Okay. And yoga and walking and things that I never thought I would do for my physical fitness is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because the things you're bringing up, those are the ones that as we age
are
sustainable.
Yes.
You know, like
Robynne.
there are different things that if we can let go of preconceived notions or ego of like achievement and what it means to do a thing.
Yes.
There's a whole world of different opportunities that open up that can be there for us for a very long time.
Yeah.
One of the, coming back to swimming, but one of the swimmers, Betty Brussels, is 100.
Amazing.
Inspiring. This year she's set, I think it's 11 world records so far. Every meet she gets in and just sets a couple more. And some of the race, like 400 freestyle is not like a lap. Like she's going for a long time. You can do a lot of things with your body.
Yeah.
But part of it does have to be, what do you need? I'm listening to you. I'm going to modify so that you and I can do this thing for a long time.
And we got to be connected, body, mind synced up, right?
Totally.
And I think that's part of like getting to know mind body connection. And I've seen it where people don't have that mind body connection. But if you actually sit, so I allowed myself in my transition year of closing soul was to be with my body. Nice. and to understand, okay, body, what do you need from me? So before, very goal oriented, I would push. I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk my 6 kilometers today. I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if it's hot.
You ran marathons.
Right. Well,
you ran.
I can't believe it.
You did.
I did. I and I set that goal, and I remember training for that. It was just a fun thing, but I was like, I'm in it. I'm going to go. So I went hard.
Yeah.
But now when I step back, I go for a walk and I say, you know what? I don't have a goal. So I actually, as much as I'd like to have a 45-minute to an hour walk and push myself uphill, I'm like, body, where are you going to take me today? Yeah. So I literally have been retraining myself to say, body, where are you at today? Because I think as we're younger and we're pushing, especially our personalities where we're like, go hard, like competitive, like... we almost push too far where it becomes the fight or flight state, and your body is like, whoa.
And if you allow your identity to be a part of that achievement, it's so hard to step back, because when you're stepping back from yourself and everything you know and everything you are.
Yes.
That's scary.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
It is so scary. And I think that was the scariest part for me, was completely taking, like, I felt like I was taking 100 steps back. However, it's actually a couple steps forward, because I feel like it allowed me to really stay in tune with really what I want. And in the end, when you live your life, it really is for yourself. Like, you are in charge of you. Like, no one is going to...
And your own happiness,
Yes. And a lot of people are trying to find the happiness from somewhere else, you know, or meeting that goal. But what happens if you decided not to try and meet that goal? Like, what happens if you did that? I actually challenge some people to go out there and say, you know what, I have this expectation on myself, but what happens if I go into this with no expectation? You know, because I think that you could learn so much about yourself, and you're actually going to be surprised as to what's going to come out of it, you know?
And as you say, stepping away from the fight or flight. You're
in the endorphins.
You're just accepting the calm is okay.
Calm is okay. Yeah. And now yoga and calm and meditation has been my thing.
Nice.
And I think it's just about calming your brain and really fine-tuning, like, really what it is that your soul wants, you know? So, I don't know. It's a pretty interesting way to think about things, but I feel like as we get, you know, older and we age, we don't have the energy like we did, and nor does our body keep up with that.
The joints do not have what they used to have.
I know.
Something does have to shift.
Right? Yes. So then make the shift and be okay with the calm, right? Or if you are the extra calm, maybe try and add a little bit of movement, you know, but don't put the expectation on yourself where, like, oh my God, I don't move now, I got to do something. Don't go run a half marathon, okay? Like, go out for 5 minutes.
And their studies are starting to show more and more now that when you go after something, they're targeting cardio, but I think you can make it apply to anything.
Yeah.
And you're doing it because you think you should, not because you're following something you enjoy and you're enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
The cortisol production makes it completely useless.
Love it.
Well, don't do it.
Like, what a fact, right there.
It's not helping you.
It's not helping you.
No.
It's not helping you. So don't go to the gym just because you think you should go to the gym.
Do it because it's fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I started working at a gym in the late 90s. And I remember, this is what really almost started my path to soul, like, you know, 20 or 10 years later. But I would see people come in, rushing, like they had to get their workout in. They come in, beep, key tag, no smile, boom, done. Okay, did my workout, gone. And I'm like, oh, bye. Did you have a great workout? Like, you know, but then I discovered fitness classes, and I was like, oh, here we are. And then so, like, I wanted to take that joy that I found out of working out to bring to people, because I'm like, don't just work out because you think you need to work out. Find that workout that actually, like, you want to go to, right? As opposed to feeds your soul. So very, very interesting as we get older and we reflect back. I think that's just something that we all should do. You know, a lot of us don't want to reflect back as to maybe how far we've come or what we've done, what our obstacles were. And obstacles, I always feel like we always overcome them. Do we not? Every single obstacle. Look what you overcame. And I want to give you huge credit to finding yourself within and trying to find that space where you're like, I still got more life in me. Because you could have gone the other way, Robynne.
Yep.
You could have been like, you know what? This is just going to be me. I'm going to continue to do this.
Yeah. And ironically, that stage I was in, there was a lot of fatigue, a lot of physical pain. A lot of physical pain at that time.
Because you weren't moving.
Yep.
And so a lot of people do have that fear, like, if I move, I'm going to hurt. But it's actually, if you can just get through the
initial DOMs and all of the discomfort of this weird new thing.
Yes, your body will be like, thank you so much for, like, keeping me moving. So, you know, I think it's a lesson too, is you don't have to go hard. You know, it's movement every day, 5 minutes. You know, or if you're a competitive swimmer at this age, it's a different story. But I want to give you kudos to like how far you've come. And I know, like, what are the longest swims you've been doing? Is it crazy?
That's a loaded. Do you really want the answer?
I want the answer.
So this summer I had one race that I was focused on. And for the record, I gave myself 2 weeks of sloth afterwards. Full joy in my sloth. Like completely. No, I have not been in the lake. I went to the gym once because I really was missing it. So I wanted to.
Well, good for you. You honored it.
Totally.
Because you put your body through the ringer.
It was 36 kilometers.
36 kilometers.
Yeah, it was a longer one.
In the lake.
Yeah. Not advised. This is not advised by medical practitioners. I do, however, have a friend circle who make that sort of thing look minimal because they do things that are far worse, far more insane. So there's this, the community sort of normalizes my abnormal tendencies.
But then you found your community that is of that, right? So I also find that find your people, right? You find your people that love the 36K and that push. You know, like I don't think that's my community. Maybe it was before, but not swimming. But you found your people. Yeah. Right? Yeah, so definitely. I feel like your people are out there. Just give yourself a chance to do what you're doing and open yourself up. 36K. Unbelievable, mind blown. Like, what does your body feel like after something like that?
Interesting. So after reading Stacey Sims' book, I shifted the nutrition that I was doing. I shifted the frequency. Okay. And I went back to full whole foods. So my first 18 kilometers, last summer I did an 18K.
Just 18K. Yeah. No big deal.
My first 18K of this summer was 20 minutes faster than my 18K race last summer.
Wow.
So the shift in training, the shift in food, and the frequency change, absolutely the right ticket.
Amazing.
Did not have my 36 distance dialed in. So I definitely towards the end of it. Have some work to do. Yeah. Now I know what I need to do.
What you need to
shift
do.
That, but it was good. My challenge for myself, because after my 11.8 a couple years ago, the 18K last year, I couldn't lift my arms for a couple days because
shoulders were angry.
No, this time I had to be careful, but I could immediately after. I could the next day. So again, the work that I'm doing, much more balanced. The shoulder capsule was more healthy. Wow. Recovery was faster.
Wow. Kudos. Yeah. Amazing. And
that was a joy piece too, because it's like, oh, it's working. Right. The things are working. Great. And now it's tweaking.
So look what happened. 36K. But look what could not have happened if you did not take that route. So I think that's, to me, inspiring. I love that you took that leap. And that now that you swam when you were younger, but you have a different edge, you have a different push, you have a different, you are your own competition. And that's what I love about things as we get older. It's like, I don't care about anybody else, to be perfect. I mean, not in a mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way.
I think it's healthy.
Yes. Yeah. I compete against me. Yeah. I'm like, so what can I do?
So if we bring this back to a recent example, Summer McIntosh, Canada's Golden Girl swimmer. She has been coached very well for how to deal with media. But one of the things that was so beautiful that she would say when she was being interviewed about the competition, she would talk about the technique that I am, trying to improve upon, or the turns, or the shift in the stroke, or the whatever. It was things that she would determine. She never offered the media or the public a benchmark that she could be measured against, that they could then look at and be like, I will judge you in this way, whether you have met your goals or not. Yeah. She always phrased them, and I think she's absolutely right to do this, in a way where she owns and she holds the power over, what are the criteria that I'm trying to do? Like, what exactly does this look like? Oh, I know what I'm working on. I know. And I'm happy with that race. Yes. And that's how she would phrase it. Amazing. I'm happy with how, this went, or I'm happy with how I did this. Love it. And it was always not the place and not the time.
That to me is a learning, that is such a great skill to have, right? Mind blown. Yeah. Because I think that's, in society, we grow up to be like, be the fastest, be the best.
You be the things I can measure of you.
And what is measuring? What is that? Come on, just measure your happiness and your joy.
Judgment was last decade. We don't do that anymore.
So don't judge yourself. Be easy on yourself, you know, and have fun and honor where your body's at.
Totally.
So I think that's so amazing. So I know we've talked a lot about this, but is there anything in particular, Robynne, that you know maybe at this point in your life that feeds your soul?
Time and space to do the things that feel right in that moment. I used to fight. I'm a morning person. And so getting up quite early and filling the time, you know, with things, the achievement things. I have been working at, you know, waking up, body's awake, how are we doing? Feel fatigued today. Gotta go back to bed.
Amazing.
And that's been a hard shift. But what I've found is achy spots and overall like mental fatigue when I'm partway through the day are much, much better if when I feel like that, I allow myself the ability, because I don't have to get up at 4. My body likes to get up at 4.
Yes.
I don't have to get up at 4.
Yes.
And sometimes going back in 6 or 7 or whatever time, getting up then, there's sort of this like warmth and softness in areas that were sore.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you needed a little bit more of that healing time during rest. There you go.
That is
Enjoy.
Amazing.
Yeah, it, just coming to a kinder place.
Yes.
With that sort of thing. It's been a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure.
That's amazing. And pretty much just to end this podcast, there's something that, again, I like to do. We did a soul second and we did a little dance. But again, another soul second that we can do in our life when we're feeling flustered or we don't know what to do is just use the magic of our breath. So I'd like to just take one deep breath with you and sit however you want to sit. Close your eyes if you choose to close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale however you want. Oh my gosh. And you can open your eyes. Thank you so much, Robynne. That feels so good. And I hope you did that at home with us. Thank you so much for watching episode number 2, Feed Your Soul. Robynne, you have been such a blessing. Thank you for sharing your story. I hope it inspires you out there to do what you need to do to feed your soul. And we will see you on episode number 3.
Dance.